just loaded with talent, and I think that's probably the main reason why people love it.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe they all just watch it for Gavin. I don't know. That's a valid reason.
All right, so first off, a huge congrats to you on an incredible run of your show, Chilling Adventures with Sabrina. Of course, the final season dropped a few weeks ago at the end of December, and man, the fans are going crazy over this. So how are you feeling since this last season was put out into the universe?
I'm feeling good. We wrapped the show about a year ago. And the world felt like it changed rapidly after we wrapped. And to sort of have this, really odd year of everyone's existence, and then at the end of it, have the show come out, it kind of felt cathartic. It felt like some sort of closure. I'm just happy that everyone finally got to see it, because it felt like so long after we filmed it to when it actually aired. And it's always just really nice to see fan reactions. And I know it was sort of a controversial ending, but the passion that people sort of had for the ending, whether they liked it or not, loved it, were upset by it, whatever that may be, just to see that people care about the show as much as they do was really heartwarming, and a nice way to go into 2021.
Oh, I bet. And you have so much to be proud of. But I want to take it back. Now,
Let's take it back.
I'm fascinated by how it all began, right? So how did the opportunity to play Sabrina come up for you? What was that audition like? Did you read for other roles, or were you always considered for Sabrina? Like, give me the full scoop behind it.
So the funny thing is that it all happened within a week.
1 week?
1 week, which was a really crazy week of my life, because I was minding my own business, reading scripts here and there, auditioning for things here and there, and then I get a call that says, "Hey, they're rebooting Sabrina, and they're really interested in you for it. Do you want to meet with Roberto tomorrow?" Okay, sure, I would love to. So they sent me the script right away. I met with Roberto, and then I had 2 screen tests within the course of a week. I was told there was going to be 1 screen test. My hair was brunette at the time. I did the screen test, and I called my manager after and said, "Hey, there's no possible way that I would have to do another screen test, right? Because I have plans to go to New York tomorrow. I'm visiting friends for the week." And they're like, no, that was it. That was absolutely it. You're good, Kiernan. Go to New York. Have fun. Like, get your mind off of this. Great. Okay. So I fly to New York. I not even left JFK before I get a call that's like, "So sorry about this, but we do need you back, and we need you to do another screen test with blonde hair." So they tried a bunch of wigs on me, and the wigs were kind of not looking as good as I sort of wanted them to. And I just said, "You know what? Screw it. I'm just going to dye my hair blonde tonight and do the screen test tomorrow." So I called up my hair guy, who really came through for me last minute, went from like dark brown hair to platinum blonde hair overnight, did another screen test, waited maybe 2 or 3 days that felt like an eternity, and then got a call while I was at the orthopedist, actually, at the doctor. And my hip pain went away right away. They said, "Hey, you got the part." And I just, but that was all within the course of a week. And then, life flipped upside down after that, considerably.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm sure you'll never forget that. Wow. I love stories like that, because it really shows how in an instant, like, everything can change, right? Mm-hmm. Which is so amazing. Now,
yeah, and I was kind of feeling a little disheartened and down in the dumps before that too. I sort of just wasn't really feeling like I was reading scripts that I was responding to, and I was like kind of going through this mini existential professional crisis, and then something happens and changes, and then it's 2.5 years later, here I am talking to Tommy DiDario on an Instagram Live about the finale.
Oh my God, how lucky am I? That's amazing.
So, how lucky am I?
Oh, please, you're just debuting your new nails. I mean, I get like the exclusive.
It is true. You do get the nail exclusive, which I've already managed to mess up a little bit because I got my hand so much and I've whacked the table like twice.
Let me ask you, when you walked onto set that very first day, did you know you were about to become part of something that would be so epic it would acquire massive worldwide fandom? Or when was that moment when you realized, oh wow, this has a really special effect, like on the world?
Yeah, it definitely was. It was when I first landed in Vancouver and went to set for the first time and saw all of the sets and what they were building. And if you've seen the show, you know that the sets are absolutely glorious and epic, and there's a lot of them. And I remember walking through all of them, seeing them be built, going to the Spellman house, and sort of thinking, whoa, like this is all for us. Like, we're really doing this. And that, I think, was definitely one key moment that sort of made me realize that this was going to be something big. And then I feel like subsequent moments that are sort of similar to that sort of happened throughout filming, and then it came out and people responded to it. But yes, it was sort of an initial hit, and then kind of another slow build of just realization that it was going to be something major.
Oh my God, I'm like excited for you hearing that and hearing you relive that all over again.
I know, I kind of wish I could go back into my 18-year-old self and walk through those sets for the first time.
Yeah, that must have been a great moment. And your character, my gosh, like your character obviously
is gal.
What a gal. She went through quite a lot. To say she lived a hectic life would be putting it very mildly, right? And whether she was battling whatever fight she was fighting to protect her family, she went through it all, and her loved ones, of course. So what were some of your favorite parts about getting to play such an epic character?
I think my favorite part, and the part that I'll sort of cherish most, and it's a reason why I really love TV and I've always had such an affinity for television, is that the character grew so much throughout the seasons, or the parts. She started off so wide-eyed and innocent and young, and you just sort of saw her go through so much and kind of rise above it all. And to be able to play that and play a character that just sort of transforms was so fun, because I was never bored, and I felt like she was always growing up and she was always changing. And to watch the first episode and compare it to the last episode, I mean, she's almost a different girl. I mean, she's got the same spirit and the same heart. She's still Sabrina, but my gosh, in 1 year, her entire world changed. And to be able to play that and to play someone that really grew into their power so much as a young woman was really special to me. And then obviously all the stuff she got to do was super cool too. I mean, to turn into a total badass is, no, you're not going to hear any complaints from me. I think that's
And I love that you've called her before, like, she's a woke witch.
She is, yeah. She's very of the times, which I love.
Yeah, that's amazing. What a great role. And so many of the fans wrote to me saying how much they enjoyed your love triangles on the show, of course, right? That was a big piece of it, of course, with Harvey and Nicholas and all the ship names that came with it, Brina. So what was it like working with the guys, and were you happy with how your love story kind of unfolded towards this final season?
Yeah, I mean, I love those guys so much. I did so many chemistry reads with Ross, and the Harvey and Sabrina relationship to me is just one of my favorite parts of the entire show, to be quite honest. And like most, I think that Sabrina and Nick are sort of bound to be together, and I think that might be the ship that is obviously, the most loved and has the most impassioned of fans behind it. But the Harvey and Sabrina relationship is still, I think, such a special thing throughout the season, romantic or not. I mean, I think that that's sort of the beautiful thing too, is that even after Sabrina and Harvey broke up, their relationship was still so strong and so beautiful. So I really appreciate that that they were able to do that in the show. And then you have someone like Caliban, who's super fun and sexy and made of clay and kind of has his moment on the show as well. And I think it's fun. I think it's a really fun part of the show. And I think that all the Sabrina ships really do kind of serve a different purpose and have different elements of like fun and romantic and sexy and all that kind of stuff that I really think that they're all very necessary to the story.
Yeah, 100%.
And fun for me to play. I mean, they're all such cute guys. I can't complain either. I mean,
I was going to say, I'm sure you weren't crying
that
you had to kiss so many of them, you know?
I mean, it was really stressful job. really high stakes, always.
Good for you. And of course, a lot of fans, too, were so shocked when it was revealed who your father was on the show. Of course, the Dark One, Lucifer, right? So what was that revelation like to you? Did you know that was coming, or did they keep you in the dark? Like, how did that all happen for you?
I was definitely kept in the dark. I didn't know at all. And then this, handsome Australian guy shows up on set, and that's apparently my father. I was definitely surprised, and obviously it makes a lot of sense. And I think that it's an essential plot point. And Luke Cook, who plays the Dark Lord, is one of my favorite humans ever. But yes, I was definitely initially surprised.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, Luke's awesome, by the way. He came on the show too. We had so much fun. He's like the funniest human being ever.
I love him so much. I love him so much.
Yeah, it seems. The whole cast. It seems like you guys really are a family unit. You all got along so well. How was it working with everyone and the dynamics on set?
It was amazing. It was like a never-ending summer camp, is how I always refer to it, because the hours were long, and we got so delirious together, and we all had good days and bad days, and we were always there for each other. And it's hard to kind of not become a family, and you get really lucky when your family is as awesome as that cast.
Yeah, well, it really shows too. It shows that you guys. I always believe when you watch a show, you can tell if the dynamics really are good.
I think so.
And I feel like a lot of people felt that,
Yeah, definitely. We had as much fun on set as we did off set.
Rock on. I love that. Now, 4 incredible seasons. You've had so many epic scenes and moments for your character. What are some that stand out to you that you'll just never forget and that were so fun for you to film?
Oh my God, there are so many. I think the first time that Sabrina conjures hellfire is really fun. Just the fact that that's really, I think, a moment that sort of shifts everything in her world. She takes on this new sense of power that we haven't seen before in her, and I think that everything beyond that point completely sort of shifts. So that was a huge moment. It was also just so epic, to be up on wires and her eyes go all white. I was quite literally in like contacts. I couldn't see anything. I was up on wires all day. So it was a super interesting day for me as well. But I do think, kind of as a whole, it's a big moment. And then another moment that I think is huge is just when Sabrina decides to just go ahead and duplicate herself, and you see her talking to herself, deciding that they're basically gonna just seeing Sabrina save the world is epic to me, and seeing her decide after the fact that she wants to just kind of live this double life is like such a teenager decision to make, in my opinion, which is I think it's so funny that she goes from quite literally saving the entire world to making like such a like young decision. And there's something about it that I think really balances the fact that she's mature but also extremely young and youthful at the same time. Like, it's easy to forget that Sabrina's 16 years old or 17, depending on what episode you're watching. But I love being reminded that she is. I love that she's still a teenager. Seeing those moments kind of juxtaposed, I think, is a really, really fun one. And then the second to last episode with the alternate universe and the original ants is probably like my favorite thing we've ever done.
Oh my God, there's so many good episodes and moments, and how much fun. My gosh, you must have had, a lot of work. You put in the work, because this was like
years. We did work.
Yeah. We did
it.
Like, let's be clear, you put in the work, but man, what the final product was, that's why the fandom is so big. And They just really gravitated towards the show in such a big way. So much so that I received a ton of DMs saying that there are all these online petitions circulating, trying to bring you back for more seasons. And one has almost 350,000 signatures. They're committed. So what is it about the show do you think attracts such a passionate fan base?
I really have to attribute a lot of it to the cast that just plays these roles in such a lovable way. Like, Chance and Lucy and Miranda and Tati and Richard and Michelle, and I could just literally name every single person on the cast that really just takes on their roles with like such a unique energy that just makes them so lovable and so personable. And then it goes beyond that to the writer's room and Roberto that just kind of have created a universe that's just out there and escape and like serves as some kind of escape from reality, but also is like deeply personal and relatable. And I think that the fact that, everyone in that show can kind of walk that line between it being completely fantastical and also just grounded and something that you feel like you can really grasp is it's a testament to literally everyone involved with the show. It's just loaded with talent, and I think that's probably the main reason why people love it.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe they all just watch it for Gavin. I don't know. That's a valid reason too. I would not blame a person for doing that.
Gavin's bringing the viewers, you think, huh?
Yeah, I think he is.
That's amazing.
I think Lucy Davis is probably bringing in a lot of viewers too.
Well, you all are. Let's be real. Like you said, you all are a superstar cast, and that's why people are so invested in it and touching on those real-life human issues in a so-not-human world. And also, I love the representation of the show. I think everybody can connect with somebody and see themselves on screen, which is great.
Yeah, it's really wonderful to be a part of something that feels like it's doing good and is a positive energy. And I love the idea of kids watching the show and feeling like they can see themselves in a character. I think that's an extremely important thing to do in art, and I think I'm very lucky to be a part of a show that does it so well.
Yeah, 100%. Now let's talk about your last scene. What was the final scene you shot for the show? And when they yelled, "Cut, that's a wrap," what was that moment like for you?
Gosh, I almost forgot. So we actually shot the penultimate episode as the last episode. It was just a scheduling thing. And my last scene was with Ross, which is just kind of, I feel like for some reason my first sort of chemistry reads were all with Ross, so it felt so like full circle to be doing the last scene of the show with him too. Like he's such an OG to me, so it was so lovely. And it was a scene where Harvey was showing Sabrina Morningstar an episode of Sabrina in the alternate universe, and what they were playing on the TV was a scene from the first episode of the show. So I was being hit with all sorts of emotions just because it really felt like the most full circle possible way to go out. And it was semi-late. It was probably like 1 a.m. by the time we wrapped. And I don't know. It's a weird thing when you film something for such a long time and then all of a sudden it's over. They don't really prep you for that, and I think there were lingering emotions for quite some time after. Initially, you've worked for 10 months and you're tired and you're excited to go home and sleep in your own bed. But I just found so much. I was just missing it so much the next month. And then being in a wrapping and then about 2 weeks later going into a full lockdown was not helpful or maybe it was for sitting with my emotions. But I had a lot of time to, so I got quite reflective on the whole experience. But yeah, when we wrapped, I think I was just sort of like I didn't even know how I felt.
Yeah.
I just sort of went through emotions.
Well, I imagine it takes time to kind of come down from all of that, right? Like
definitely.
You have to process kind of almost like letting someone go, right?
Yeah, there's a mourning period. Absolutely. I went through the same thing with Mad Men too. I don't even want to say more intensely, but I was on Mad Men for like 10 years versus 2.5. So I felt like I almost knew the ropes as to how I was going to feel and how letting a character go after a really long time feels. And there's no shortcut. It's sometimes not easy, but I knew the way.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Totally. What do you think the legacy of the show will be?
Oh my goodness. I hope that the legacy of the show is that leading with your heart and standing up for what you believe in is the right thing to do. I would hope. And I hope that it inspires a lot of people to just sort of chase after what they want and be the best version of themselves and come into their own power however they see fit. I think I would like that to be the legacy.
Yeah, something that we all have to remember. I like that. I think that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Rock on. Okay, a lot of fan questions. Let me get to them.
Ooh.
Now, these were the most popular fan questions I received.
Okay.
I kind of put them all together. And the first one, the number one I got was, you said you would reprise your role in some way, shape, or form. What would your dream way be to reprise that role? And part B, and if I don't ask this, your fans are going to come for me, is there any truth to this rumor about HBO Max maybe doing something with the show? Have you heard anything? Give me the scoop. Okay, so here's the tea. Here is the tea. To answer the latter first, you've got it. You've got it. I've got nail polish. I don't. I know nothing about the latter. I really don't. I really haven't heard anything. So that's that. As far as reprising the role, yes, of course I would love to. I feel like I feel like Sabrina could definitely make it back if she wanted to. Like, she's very smart, and I feel like she